All right. Hello, everyone on YouTube. It's Stacy Alden here with the Group Fitness Report for June. I can't believe it's June already, 2022. I'm here with Jamie Nicholls. She's been on this show before it was called even the Group Fitness Report. But we're here to talk about all things in-person education. She is the pioneer and person who's been bringing up in-person education, I think, before most. And she started her first in-person conference this year was just a month ago in Seattle, Pacific Northwest FitCon. And when we were both there together, I couldn't help but notice while virtual has definitely helped all of us continue our education during the time that things have been closed, people haven't been able to gather, it's always going to be valuable and important. She has shown to me in going to that conference just how valuable in person is. While it may be a little extra money, it may be a little extra time, the value is still there. And she has two more conferences that are happening coming up. One is DCAC FitCon happening in August 5th through 7th, 2022, and then in Reston, Virginia, in person, and then also the Music City FitCon happening in
October 21st through 23rd.
October 21st to 23rd, and that one's in Nashville, Tennessee. So all in person. What I love about her conferences is she's embraced in person and has gone all out on the in person. So we're going to talk to her today about 3 questions I have for her when it comes to in person, so that you, as either a manager, instructor, personal trainer, whatever you might be as a fitness professional, how you can make the most of those in person conferences. Thanks, Jamie, for being here.
Thank
As
you.
always.
Excited.
My first question for Jamie is, at the Pacific Northwest FitCon specifically, what was something that you noticed was really different and enhanced the experience because it was in person?
I think that was our first time in person in the Seattle area. And I think that people in that area were really eager to get back in person, to just have those emotional connections with people one-on-one and, be able to talk with people. Zoom and all kinds of virtual platforms have been really great throughout the pandemic. But I think really people miss that one-on-one connection. You could be there to get coached or learn new skills actually in person and working out with people, and just the camaraderie of people coming together to embrace the in-person events and learning new things. I thought was really, really great. Just the energy and excitement that I saw was even more so than at previous in-person events.
Yeah, the energy was heightened, I think, people coming together. And I didn't remember, I guess the virtual has again given us what we need as far as the CECs and the education itself, but there's these conversations you have with different people and different vendors in between sessions that are really valuable too, that you just don't realize you're missing when you do those virtual conferences. So I really enjoyed that. And I know we did a couple of panels at this last in-person event, and I loved, you could feel the energy in the room. Those were the most attended kind of events because you strategically made sure that they were the only thing offered. Yeah, they had to come. And the questions people were asking, and we were obviously referencing how difficult the pandemic was and still is.
Right.
And there was just this energy, like you said, that you could feel in the room of, we've all felt this, we've all been there, and here is our story. And I just feel like that genuine eye contact made the experience that much better.
Yeah, I definitely had a lot of feelings during the panels. I just felt like it was so wonderful to have everybody back together. And I did strategically place them because, business classes and talking about your career and talking about opportunities within the fitness community are really important. But when everybody's ready to go back to a conference, they want to do the Schwinn class or the bar class. They want to do all the things where they're going to get moves for their classes. And it's not that I don't think that they realize that that's important, but they're going to choose movement inevitably. So I strategically placed them so there was nothing else to go to except for the panel. And then I served some free coffee as well. So that really got people in there. And I felt like it was great conversation. You heard different people's stories, advice from people about how to connect, whether it was in the community or regarding your career. And Basically, the overall message I got from both panels was just have perseverance. If this is what you want to do, make it happen. And I know that a lot of us in this industry, if you're still here, have had to do that over the past few years. But I was definitely touched just by what everybody said that day. It was just a really good connecting feeling where you could connect with other people that are like-minded and just see the face-to-face connections with other people.
Yeah, that made the biggest difference for me, having that opportunity. And you did such a great job of adding, I mean, obviously snacks and food will bring people to most things, especially coffee, because it was kind of exhausting being in person again. We had a
Yeah.
lot to do, and you're seeing people again for the first time in a long time. And but I still felt very safe. That's something I also
Right.
wanted to emphasize is that people were very respectful. Jamie's created this system where you have a wristband of the color that you feel most comfortable, red being like no touch, no go, yellow being, maybe a handshake or two, but keep your distance, and then
Yeah.
green being all out hugs, kind
Like a
of.
stoplight.
Yeah, exactly. So I've loved that strategy you've used for everyone who's still, they may
Right.
have people at home they have to protect or themselves. So that was really special. So the next question I have for Jamie is how can fitness professionals best prepare to get the most out of an event, and then potentially even if you want to share some of the ways that they can save money for these in-person events.
So I think you need to be strategic. I remember my very first event and I signed up for all the movement classes. And so if this is your first event and you sign up for all the classes on the first day and you do every single one of them, then you might not be able to get out of bed on the next morning. So definitely look at your schedule and, maybe pick out some of the lectures first that you want to do and alternate so that you have some movement classes, you get some coaching experience and whatever you're looking for to further your education, but also some of the lecture ones. And the good thing about most of the workshops is they're combinations. They lecture first. So intentionally do your schedule so that you're not going, and then you're done. So you can get the most out of the conference. If you want to save money, register early, like now, register for DCAC FitCon before June 15th and the rate goes up.
Mhm.
I'll have Stacy put in a special promo 30 will give you $30 off the event.
Yeah.
You can share hotel rooms. If you get a double room, you can put 4 people in there.
Mhm.
You want to do that. You want to carpool if you're driving from a couple hours away, especially with gas prices these days.
Yeah,
That's,
carpool.
if
Mhm.
you're booking a flight, Tuesdays and Wednesdays historically have the lowest flight prices. If you book on those days, not fly on those days, but if you book,
Mhm.
buy snacks, figure out where a grocery store is. You can get your hummus and veggies. When we were in Seattle, I asked one of the presenters to bring me a butcher knife to the hotel so I could cut up some vegetables for my kid.
That's awesome.
And because there definitely are a lot of options right and around the hotels that we have chosen.
Mhm.
However, that can also be costly. So you want to make sure you plan so that you're able to embrace the education, what you're doing. You don't have to go out and get lunch. You can,
Mhm.
have stuff readily available. What are some other tips? Bring a sweatshirt. So if you're going to exercise and then you're going to go to a lecture, you need either a change of clothes or a sweatshirt. It's super duper cold in the hotel. And
Mhm.
that is on purpose so that the people in the cycling room don't get sad when it's really hot. Um, if you have a group that wants to come, you can reach out to me because we can always do a special group rate if you have 5 or more people. If you want to bring your team there, I have set aside some extra space at the hotel where you could have a team meeting. So if you're in the area and you're looking to have a team meeting, like we can work out where you can do that as well, especially since we're talking to the group fitness managers. It's a
Awesome.
great way to connect, send everybody to a different class so that you can all come back together and compare notes later. And then one of the Stacy's big points that I really agree with is making time on Monday, whether you're traveling home or whether you block out an hour of focus time in your schedule to go over what you learned so that it doesn't just get in your notebook in the back of your closet or on the bookshelf,
Yeah.
which has happened to me so many times.
Mhm.
You want to make sure you take time to put those new things you learned into place.
Mhm. Love it. So helpful on those tips. So yeah, like Jamie said, I'll share the promo code in the comments below, but that rate does go up very soon. So hop on that now as soon as you can.
Get on that now.
Um, and she already shared that great tip. So my last question was that when they are coming home, what are some things they can do to make the most of the information they just learned? And that's exactly my advice is to make sure you spend at least a day if you can. Maybe you just are really careful on your way home. If you have a longer trip home, to get really focused on the plane, which is actually a great place to focus because no one can get a hold of
And
you
I'll go
for the
home.
most part. Yeah. So don't start the text messages on the plane. Just shut that all off. And I think recapping what you learned and then potentially even making a plan. I've done this before as a group fitness manager. Maybe I learned a new format that I really liked, or if you're a group fitness instructor and you found like so many great exercises that you really loved, maybe you plan for unveiling those exercises in
At specific
intervals
times. Yeah.
versus like everything. I'm gonna like give everything to my classes on the first day. They're gonna be
Right. Don't do
overwhelmed
that.
and be mad. Yeah. They're like,
Especially
I
with
hope you
like
never go to a conference again.
especially with choreographed based classes. Like a lot of times if I would come and learn like a new routine that I wanted to do, I know that would be super overwhelming. So I would say, okay, we're going to do half of that. And then we're going to pair it with something you already know or something easy. Just add in a little bit at a time. And then also keep, repetition is always good.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
keep that same thing, add in so that you don't just have a fresh class the next week or 2 weeks later.
Mhm.
You can extend it until you come to the next event.
I love it.
Um,
I love it.
One of the things I'd like to say about the in-person versus virtual, like we've all said, virtual has a place, but I really wanted to focus on in-person this year because as a small business, I felt like I had to choose. And there's so many great virtual options, but I feel like when you're in person, it's a little bit different. When you do a training online, you can fold your laundry while you're listening to the lecture, or you
Yeah.
can go get a snack and miss 5 minutes. But when you're really sitting in that room and being immersed in the room full of other people, it really just makes that much of a difference. So you're tired both ways. Either your eyes are tired from looking at the screen, or you're just tired from just being stimulated for, 72 hours. But
Mm.
I really do think that the in-person just gives that little extra umph of you're in there ready to just get your education on.
Yeah, yeah, and you're there. Yeah, like you said, like I have been definitely victim to, oh, I'm home. And even if you do a virtual event, you should block off time and let everyone in your household know, like I'm doing education.
Yeah.
But when you're actually gone, it makes it even better because you literally are 100% immersed. And I can't help but admit, I tend to have been paying attention a bit better when I was in person. Just because, everyone can really see you. There's no camera you can turn off in person.
Right.
You have to be paying attention. And it makes it less likely for you to be distracted,
Right.
which is why we're there. That's why we
Exactly.
want to be there for
Yes.
education. So I'm so glad you remembered to talk about that. That's so great. So we really want to see you at these in-person events. I really do believe they're going to make a comeback with a vengeance. There's already great attendance starting to roll in for DCAC, so we'd love to have you be a part of that. And again, I'm going to share the code in the comments. Anything else you need to share or would like to share about DCAC, Jamie, coming up?
Just if you want a group, reach out to me, or if you have a group of staff members who want to volunteer, we could always use volunteers as well. So that's a good
Oh,
way.
yeah.
Another good money saving tip. You can sign up as a staff assistant, pay a
Yeah.
lesser rate, still get your credits, and then just help out, which is also really fun.
And I feel like that's how me as a presenter, I was able to network with so many presenters. Like if you're someone who's looking to do that in the industry, you should become an assistant so that you can really build relationships with the coordinator and the attendees and the people who are presenting. Yeah, that's so great that you mentioned that. So I'll make sure I put Jamie's email in the description as well. And our next episode or our next guest coming onto the group fitness report is going to be Jessica Rogers. So I'm going to do a little preview for her. She's coming up the first Friday in July. And she'll be talking to us about her experience at a health club in Chicago, which had actual bubbles for participants to be in during the pandemic. And as much as they
Yeah.
have kind of pulled away from that, she's going to talk about two things: what she learned in having to teach in that space as an instructor to enhance her experiences. And now that they're coming away from that, they still have kept a couple bubbles in the studio because people want to be in those still. So how do you handle that when, eyes are kind of looking back, like, why are these people in these weird contraptions versus outside? And it's trying to handle, that difference in people who are prepared or ready to come away from those different policies we had and come out of it, and the people who are not ready. So I'm looking forward to that coming up in July. We look forward to seeing all of you at DCAC. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.